As many of you know, Marvel Studios was in talks with SELMA director Ava DuVernay to possibly direct their upcoming film Black Panther. However, those talks have ended and DuVernay will not be helming the project. She said the following: "I'm not signing on to direct Black Panther. I think I'll just say we had different ideas about what the story would be. Marvel has a certain way of doing things and I think they're fantastic and a lot of people love what they do. I love that they reached out to me. I love meeting Chadwick and writers and all the Marvel execs. In the end, it comes down to story and perspective, and we just didn't see eye to eye." Jeanette Byersell DuVernay not directing Black Panther.
I totally buy it, and you just have to respect the decision to not work together. I mean, as we've seen before with Edgar Wright leaving, and we've seen, Thor replacing directors. It happens all the time, and Marvel has a certain aesthetic and a certain way they want to make things. And it's not to say that each director isn't able to infuse their flavor and their personality and the way that they direct things. Look at James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a perfect example of being able to take something that the style of James Gunn and applying it to the Marvel universe. It's not Slither, it's not super, but it is James Gunn's flavor, but it's inside, wrapped around the Marvel universe. And other directors just come on with a very strong personality and a very strong, style of their own, which has to be implemented and bend into Marvel's style, so to speak. It's the house style, so to speak. So I'm happy to hear that she's not going to, say, yeah, I'll do it, and then later, quit or be fired or whatever. It just, if you can't come to where you want to take the character and the story right off the bat, it's better to just say, look, we tried, it didn't work out. So I totally buy that she's leaving, and it sounds great. I love the character of the Black Panther, and I think they'll find someone perfect to direct it.
I was very excited when I heard that Ava was in talks for it, because to me it was like, hey, they're going out for really quality directors. A lot of times people ask me, hey, who should direct this movie or this movie? And I usually just say, a good director. Just pick a good director. And, and in this, they picked a really good director. But I also buy this completely because coming up with these matches is not just about getting a great director. It's about getting a really good fit. Somebody where their vision for the movie is a great fit for what the studio's vision for the movie is, because then they can move together in the same direction and go. And I have never been a subscriber to this whole theory that, it can only be this person of a director. Remember, we just came off of, all the drama with Ant-Man and Edgar Wright. And so many people wanted to jump off, that whole ship and saying, oh, well, if Edgar Wright's not directing it, Ant-Man is doomed. They got who? This Peyton Reed guy? Guess what? I've seen Ant-Man. I've seen it twice. It's really damn good. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying it would have maybe even been better with Edgar Wright or not, but what we saw there is the power of a talented director with a studio. When both of their visions are in alignment and they go in the same direction, magic can happen. And full kudos to Ava, who had the opportunity to direct a big blockbuster and thought, you know what? I see this not working. So instead of just jumping on it anyway and create misery for the studio and misery for myself and end up with a product that doesn't really satisfy the fans, best now to step away, as opposed to a lot of these other movies where we see where they say, yes, we've announced our director, and then 3 months later, oh, they're off the project now. Full kudos to both Marvel, to Ava for doing this, and I think, good things are still ahead for Black Panther despite losing Ava. So it's unfortunate, but for me, it's a buy.
Yeah, as will happen on the show from time to time, I'm going to regurgitate their thoughts less intelligently. I also buy this. Now, Mark Ellis, the audience member, really wanted to buy a ticket to see Ava DuVernay's Black Panther. So that's disappointing for me personally, but for her as an artist, I think this is awesome because she could have paid her mortgage for the rest of her life wherever she wanted to live if she did a big movie like this. She looked at the material, she looked at what Marvel was presenting her, and she said, I'm good. And I think that's awesome. That is such an artist move to do that. It's awesome to see somebody have the strength to say, I'm not going to bend to their will. But then you go to the other side and you say, Marvel, they're doing everything right so far. So they presented her with their master plan, and if she didn't want to fit into it, they're like, that's cool. We know where we're taking this. Right. And so I don't think that Black Panther's in trouble. I don't think DuVernay's in trouble. They just didn't work together. It's okay for people to not see eye to eye on something creatively. So she's going to do a lot of great things in the future. I'm still pumped about Black Panther. This is still good news.